All right, what's up, good people? It's your boys, Beard the War, back again. Got myself, Dick Nick Fury, aka the Chocolate Avenger, FBI for President, Fat Broken Rambo, the digital media
Adventure.
demigod, and we got the artist and assassin, Scorched Earth, conductor of Chaos, K. Capjack behind the scenes, and here we are, man. Fallout Season 2, Episode 6. We got some stuff going on, man. We got some stuff going on. Lucy and the Ghoul having a little bit of a fractured relationship, so Lucy's kind of achieving her mission. The ghoul's been sidetracked a little bit, if impaled, as we say, maybe a little bit on the rail.
Mm.
So so we're gonna get into it without further ado. Rambo, man, you want to start us off, brother?
Yeah, man. So, all right. So we'll do the same thing. We'll do split parallel storylines, and we'll talk it all the way through, and then we'll go back to it. So I'm gonna start with Lucy because honestly, like that's kind of a cool storyline, but the Ghoul is where it's at, especially the ending, man. So yeah, Lucy and Hank have reunited. I love the fact that he leaves like a note and says dial zero and I'll come get you, and she just kicks the fucking door open. And she starts making her way through, and she sees like the creepy HR room where like everyone is gleefully and cinematically passing like more mind control boxes over to the next person as they work on it. It's like a little automated, creepy 1950s line of people that are just way too happy,
Workers, exactly.
right? But yeah, so they all have been equipped with boxes. We start seeing a couple members of the Legion are walking down the hall. So obviously Hank's been busy using his army to kind of grow. So he's got his one guy, the traveling salesman, the snake oil salesman. He hooked him up, and now it's kind of like he's off to the races. He's building his new Vaultec employee base that are all about that life, man. And it's interesting because obviously Hank's going to is trying to manipulate Lucy over to his side of the argument, saying that people want to do this. It makes them happier by surrendering their individual freedoms. And there's actually a pretty good demonstration because before we went live on the show, Scorched Earth and I were talking about Real Genius and the actor you were referencing. The dude that plays the New California Republic guy, and the Legion guy, and they start like basically going at it. They're trying to kill each other. And then as soon as he activates the boxes, they just return to normal and go back to like pleasantries and just being like quote unquote gentlemen, right? Yeah, it's ultra fucking creepy, man. It's very Stepford Wives like, if you guys have ever seen those films. Um, yeah, so and it's weird because you kind of see like he's made his point to Lucy, like you can kind of see her character debating it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Lucy's a constant conflict, right? Like she still has the moral compass, but her little drug binge, I think, was a kind of an awakening of sorts. And she's kind of resistant. Like, her dad, you
Yeah.
can see her dad's trying to sidetrack her. She's like, "Nope, let's go." And she's like, "Come on, let's get out of here. We got to get back." So, I think at some point though, obviously there's going to be some kind of a derailment there where she doesn't get to fulfill that mission of getting them back to the vault. But like I said, she's still on mission, she's still on task. I mean, she really gave the ghoul a nice little send off in the last episode. So
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
think she's committed, and she didn't seem to have any like qualms about it, man. Like she had no, feelings about it. What she needed to do at that point. She knew her mission was to get to her father and get him back to the vault. So we'll see how long she's able to maintain that before things go south.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she tends to, have those moments of extreme clarity and kind of snap a bit when she runs into that same brick wall of people she trusts or expects, to be friends with her or whatever almost seemingly turns on her, right? So her dad, obviously, the ghoul, she's starting to rebuild that trust of walking across the desert looking for him, building that friendship, and then he betrays her. She has that moment again. And so I think that's what's going to probably drive her in the next episode, right? She's going to have another one of those extreme moments, and it's going to change everything. And then we also started to see with just a couple of flashbacks here and there, not too many, but maybe a lot. A little more, yeah, a little more insight into which I liked it a little bit. Into kind of what was going on with the main character, the Ghoul, and his wife back pre-war. And when he asked her, said, "Hey, we need to have a talk," and it kind of all came out, and he eventually gets to the point where he gets Hank, alone, and they're having some drinks, passes out, and then he goes into the case and finds one of the little guns similar to the Doc from the Enclave way back, where he inserted the was it cold fusion
Cold fusion.
yeah,
Yeah.
into his neck, and the wife ends up using it to kind of take that out, right? Because they're trying to figure out what was going on with it. But that you could see that the marriage started to fall apart because I wasn't quite sure, where they ended up, right? If you go back a few episodes, he was having issues. He was spying on his wife for for Moldova or Dava or whatever it was, right? And essentially getting to the point of becoming a labeled a pinko, and he's conflicted with that. His wife's doing bad things, and you never really knew exactly where they ended off with their own personal relationship. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it came to some kind of good conclusion, and now they got separated because she was in a different vault with the daughter. But it looks like they may have, separated, broken up, had a big fallout, and he ended up where he was. She ended up, yeah, that pun was intended. Um,
Dad jokes,
and
man.
yeah, we can't help it. It's actually ingrained.
Definitely.
But it did give some good backstory for some of that. I don't think they needed all of the flashbacks, but it was good. You got, Lucy at one point essentially playing Mario Kart with her dad on those the little vehicles he used, the golf carts to get around in the building. She's trying to get away. But yeah, it turned out to be a pretty decent episode as far as I'm concerned. And then you start to see the super mutant, right? We get the Ghoul getting some assistance.
Yeah, because the ghoul finally, like, the poor bastards have been hanging there for the entire episode, man. And he tried to pull himself all the way up, and I was like, man, what's your exit strategy off this fucking thing? Like he got his fingers up there, and I was like, oh man, you better be able to
So
thrust yourself,
close.
you better be able to
Right.
crossfit your ass off that bar. Um, and that did not happen. And then yeah, the streets are kind of cleared, and you're seeing it from his perspective. He's going feral, all kinds of like he's having a rough day, man. Case of the Mondays for sure. And then yeah, the beam just gets basically snapped right off with one quick swipe, and he gets lifted up and drug off. And yeah, it gives very much like who are we comparing it to? The Strain. So the
Oh yeah,
OG vampire in that movie or that series walked very similar, had the the cloak and everything else like that. Gave off that kind of vibe, or Krampus if you guys have seen that film. Um, but yeah, and so you don't see him, but you hear a very distinct voice, man. And for all the fans out there that know who the fuck Ron Perlman is, and he's a fucking awesome dude. Yeah, man, that was him, not in the flesh, but he's a CGI character. But to see him join the television series after being such an integral part of the video game franchise over the years, it was just awesome, man. And I will say before we get to the very moment where we get to see all that stuff and the Avengers unite at the end of the episode, the one flashback that I loved was Walton Goggins looking at his wife dead in the eyes, and he's like, "You're a monster," and I was like, "Holy shit, man!" Like,
Right.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
when
uh,
he said, yeah, like, were you a monster now, or were you always a monster?
yes, I was like,
I'm like,
"Good Lord,
whoa.
man, that is like some soul ripping shit right there." But if you guys remember the premiere episode when Cooper and his daughter are making a run from the blast on the horse, at some point he's going to have to hand his daughter over to her. And the guys in the crowd alluded to the fact that they got divorced, child support, he lost everything, kind of thing,
Oh yeah, yeah,
because that's why he was
yeah.
doing like the kiddie party kind of scene.
Yeah, that's right. I
So
forgot about that.
and she's also painted in a corner. And one of the things that we kind of glazed over a little bit was the scene where it almost looked like she was with Cooper and she was going to help bring down Vault Tech kind of thing. And she gets into an elevator to go get the information. And our boy from the Enclave from episode
Yeah,
1 and 2, he was in Lost and Person of Interest and a couple other things. He's another one of those great B character actors, um, or B actors rather. And he basically alludes to like, hey, like I have to deliver this message because they're going to kill me and my family. So if you don't follow this message, they're going to kill you and yours. So it's interesting to see that he got frozen and then obviously brought back in the conclave in the beginning of the show. So pretty neat, man. And I'll leave it to you guys for the ending.
Yeah, well, like I said, man, the show they've had like I said, a lot of flashbacks. I'm like, does the ghoul have Alzheimer's? I don't know, but like we're going back a lot, right? So it does kind of help tell the story of how we got to where we are. Um, I do feel like whatever's going on at the vault, they're like arguing over snacks, like funding for snacks. Like it's weird. Like the kind of conflict that's going on at the vault doesn't make a lot of sense, but
yeah,
it's almost like, are we just doing this to keep people on the payroll? Because hey, man, we're gonna need these characters at some point. But right now, we're just gonna have these, weird debates and conflicts over how many snack rations you get and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
well,
very
we need
weird.
water, and it's like,
yeah. It's
okay,
written
like where are
into
we
the
going with
charter.
this?
I get
Right,
we
like
get
where are we going?
the
Where's
snack
the
budget.
cap? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Hey man, I need the snacks. I'm like, okay. Like I just don't really get where we're
Yeah.
going with that. Maybe that'll come to a head at some point. I mean, we got maybe what 2 more episodes, I believe.
Yeah, so we had two more. It's
Yeah.
got to
So
though,
we'll
because we've
see.
got to answer the other vault too. Like, what is it? Chet and Steph are getting married. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
one-eyed chick who obviously is a major villain.
Hmm.
And then
Can't
she
see.
turns into the runaway bride, right?
She looks like
Yeah.
blonde Baroness from G.I. Joe, for God's sake.
And then
Or
Um,
Norm.
what's her name from Kill Bill, right? Right, with
Okay.
oh,
the
well done, Hannah,
yeah,
Daryl Hannah.
something. Yeah, Daryl
Daryl
Hannah.
Hannah. Okay.
Yeah,
Splash.
Yeah.
dude,
There you
so much
go.
better than mine. Knocked out of the park.
Nice.
But yeah, I agree. The whole snack thing, I didn't like it. When it first came out, I'm like, why insert this? We don't necessarily need this. And I think it's going to turn into kind of that conflict between powers, so to speak, right? Because he's starting to get a little more, testosterone and step up a little. You remember back in the voting, there was a couple that were like, okay, yeah, I'm going to put my name in. Was he one of them? I think he was one. Or yeah, I think he was one, maybe.
He might
But
have been, yeah.
they had a couple, like one or two others that were trying to become the leader of the vault, and then they backed down quickly. It was just like, well, I'm gonna cast my vote for her. But I think that's where they're gonna maybe try and take that. Not that it's needed, but they're gonna that conflict between him and her, because now he's got his group of people that like him. He's got a little backing. They're boosting him up. He's got probably what 15, 20 hype men. So I think he's feeling himself, and they'll probably build on that conflict to have essentially a mini conflict, so to speak, under the overarching theme of Fallout itself with the Ghoul and Lucy and the dad and everything. But I don't think it's necessarily needed. I wasn't necessarily feeling that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see what the payoff is at this point. Like, I find the scenes to be really boring.
Yeah.
And even with the even with Steph and Chad, I'm just like, yeah, but maybe in the end when we know actually what the motivation is to keep focusing on these two vaults, I just don't see it. So I am curious to see where it goes though. I will say that. I do have a quick question for you guys though. When we meet Ron Perlman's mutant, obviously CGI, but his face is
Yeah.
been plaster all over it. He takes a stone and like puts on a spear and shoves it into the ghoul to heal him.
They heal him, right?
Do you remember what that is? That stuff?
I thought it was like uranium or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I thought that's what they said, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember, but I was thinking it was this, maybe some of that Fev or whatever it is, like the stuff that they use to actually create the mutants, the super
Yeah.
mutants, and maybe it affects him a different way, right? Because he's already a
Okay.
ghoul, he's
Yeah.
not a regular person. So that's what I was thinking, because similar color or whatever. It's not necessarily a direct tie, but I was thinking that might be it.
Okay.
And also, I think the only reason maybe keeping the Chet thing around and the missus from Kill Bill is to get really that background, that detail on her and the whole she's 200 years old and Canadian,
Yeah.
blah blah
And
blah,
he-
right?
Yeah,
And-
because she's the one that had the access codes to the FEV files, correct?
yeah. So yeah,
All right. Backstory.
that's what I'm thinking. But I don't know.
I'm wondering what's going on with Norm. Norm got choked out by one of the junior execs. You know,
He needed
Yeah.
if
that
you don't
drink.
agree with HR, you can't really choke them out.
Yeah,
But
I
apparently,
actually
in the
totally
wasteland, you
forgot
can.
about Norm.
Right?
He
Poor
should have got
Norm.
his
Norm
drink,
just,
his first drink at least.
it is
So
what it is.
yeah, so the episode ends with what is it? Thaddeus, Maximus. They've ditched the armor and they came across Dogmeat, who's got the Ghoul's hat, and then basically they enter in the building and they see Ghoul kind of like on the ground, and they're like, "Fuck!" and it cuts to black. So I'm telling you, we got Fallout Avengers being assembled right here in front of us.
So we got that.
Waiting to see if Mr. House actually makes a premiere in the current timeline. That's going to be interesting because I
Oh,
suspect the bodies are the little black boxes, control boxes, are a reference to him.
yeah, and we essentially find out who's really kind of behind everything, right? It's the Enclave.
Right, but
It's
who's the Conclave though?
no, the Enclave. So the
Or
Enclave. Yeah, the Enclave from the game series, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like the second game or something, but they were a group similar to
Brotherhood of
the
Steel.
one that Maximus is a part of,
Yeah, Brotherhood of Steel.
the Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah, they got suits and guns and essentially their main goal is to kill everybody except themselves and run everything. Right, because every faction had their own kind of goals, like with Hank and the rest of them, they were trying to, hey, let's make everybody happy, and we just want to, docile. We want to control everything, but it just be peaceful, quote unquote, right? Just rule over everybody. Whereas Enclave was that group where it's like, no, we want to kill everybody and everything, and it just be the Enclave and nobody else. So the Enclave seems to be, if I'm not mistaken, seems to be kind of the ones that was pulling the strings behind all of this, right? You got oh man, the
Are
guy
they so
in
are they part
Vegas,
of the Mr. House?
yeah, Mr. House trying to figure out who it really is, and like almost assuredly is the Enclave. Like if you take a look at the game and
That that
how
dropped the
the
bombs.
yeah
Okay.
yeah
Are they like a corporation or something? Like I'm just kind of curious because I don't know this stuff.
no, I mean it's similar to the Brotherhood of Steel, like a group of people. They have tech, they got weapons, whatever, but they're just extremists essentially. Real, just the worst of the worst extremists. They want to destroy everything except
Hmm.
their group.
Yeah, it just
Uh,
seems like everyone's kind of got a connection to one of these corporations. I was kind of curious to what who might comprise that group.
Now that being said, I haven't played all the games, so
Hmm.
there could be in the game, even though they're trying to build a game kind of based out of the lore now, but in the game, I don't recall if they had, a corporation or something that they were associated with. It's
Okay.
very possible, but yeah, it's the Enclave that pushed the button.
Mm. Interesting.
Okay. All right. And I
Sounds good
do
to me.
recall the mutant saying something to the ghoul like, "We need you to be healthy." Right? Like there's going to be some kind of
Grand finale.
collaboration,
Oh
whether he
yeah.
wants it or not. Right? So,
Well, he wouldn't become one of them, so he was like, "Yeah, I got to knock you out, and you can't know
right.
where we live." Then
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that ends
Yeah.
up.
I'm excited to see it,
Um,
man. Now that the next two episodes are going to be amazing. Hopefully, fingers
I
crossed.
hope. I hope so. Cause I do, man. I need some straight up action. I need, heads exploding. I need some good storyline. I need some things to kind of come together. Cause like right now, everything seems just a lot of very fractured. We
Yeah.
do know like Lucy and Ghoul's story that's kind of now you separated those two storylines. So yeah, I mean, I'm in. I'm engaged. We did do a poll last episode, and it was your favorite a video game to television show adaptation. And we're going to leave the poll up for another week or so just so we can get some more votes. Right now, though, Fallout is in the lead with Twisted Metal coming in second. Halo is a distant fourth with no votes.
That's no
And
shit
three
right
is
there.
Last of Us. So the one person who enjoyed Last of Us maybe stopped at season one. So
it's still better than the Halo adaptation. So
Oh,
so
Halo is
we'll see.
so
We'll
bad.
see. We'll see. But we got some new ones coming out. Someone did say they would love to see a Metal Gear Solid adaptation show. So we may get
Dude,
it,
that would be cool, man. I'd
Yeah,
watch the shit out of that.
we may get exactly, Call of
Timu
didn't
Duty or
they already
something.
Snake
do that?
Plissken.
Yeah, you're like, didn't they already do that? Wasn't that like Jason Bourne Supremacy?
Right, yeah. Insert action movie here.
Yeah, that would be good
Splinter
though.
Cell.
I would
Yeah.
watch that.
Hey, so our madman Captain Jack says Enclave and Fallout are remnants of pre-war United States deep state, a secretive fascist
That's right.
paramilitary organization believing themselves to be the true inheritors of America, focused on purifying the world of mutants and everyone else through advanced technology, military might, acting as the major antagonist in Fallout 2 and 3, though appearing in splinter groups later. There were shadow government elites, presidents, generals, industrialists who survived the Great War, hidden in bunkers like Raven Rock and the oil rig. So I'm
And
assuming
if you
those
can
are
find them,
Yeah,
maybe
because
you can hire the A
they
team.
they took down the oil rig in one of the games. So it's essentially their evil version of the characters in the video game Division.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Point
Thank you for
taken.
putting it in terms that I understand.
Point taken. All
So
right. Well,
the Rikers.
that's all I got, fellas. You guys, any caveats? Any unspent
No,
rounds? No.
if you guys are bored, watch the rip. That's about all I got for that one.
Ugh. I'll give them. You know what I will give them on that. And I heard a Matt Damon and Ben Affleck kind of sidebar. Somebody asked them about on the set the guns or whatever, and the guys who did all the gun work for him said, "Yeah, no, we're gonna use the same amount of powder that you'd find in regular rounds, and all of the sound was deafening to them because they probably didn't have an ear pro or the right ear pro, and the
He's talking
flash
about that
looked."
3M shit.
Oh, dude. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna be able to claim this. They'll be able to say it's service connected and they ain't been in the service. So, um, yeah, dude, get your lawsuits ready. But I will say that I'll give them a plus on that, right? Because the Flash and all of that, and them kind of going with that and making it as realistic as you feasibly could. Although all that shooting and them not getting hit from the outside, that's a whole different story. But that part, I was like, okay, all right, I'll give you guys that one. I'll
I
give you
didn't
that.
hate the movie. I thought it was slow.
Yeah,
But I will say the deal that they cut with Netflix to make sure that their cast and crew are all taken care of financially and properly, like kudos to them, man, because that's looking out for the entire team, and I respect the hell out of that. And go Pats.
Had to drop that in there. I get it. I
Sure
get
the
it. They're,
fuck
they're
did.
they're looking good, bro. You
We're
know,
coming
hey.
for you, Broncos. We're gonna fuck your shit up in Denver.
And there you have it, folks. So with no further ado, Thick Nick Fury out here.
Fat Broken Rainbow out here. Don't worry, I'll eat my words next week.
scorched out.
Be good, guys.
I just noticed that the guy sitting in the front row watching movies on our outro looks like the fake Mr. House.